live a life of freedom and adventure? Are you wanting more than the daily grind? Me too. Welcome to the Emma Lovell Show, a place where we talk about living a life you love now. I'm your host, Emma Lovell, and my number one value is freedom. I've spent the last 14 years running a business and traveling the world, and now I take my husband and toddler along for the adventure too. It's possible, and I know you can create a life doing what you truly love as well. This podcast will inspire, motivate, and encourage you to go after your dreams, to create a life you love and to live it now, not wait for retirement or someday in the future. I'll be sharing episodes weekly about how I harmonise business, travel, and self-care. I'll also bring on incredible guests to share their journeys, the wins, the challenges, and how they're creating a life they love. Let's jump in and get dreaming. This is a space for you to manifest a life you love. I would like to acknowledge and recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of this place, now known as Australia. I am grateful for the continuing care of the land, waterways and skies where I work, live, listen, learn and play. From here on Yugambeh country and from wherever you are listening, I pay my respects to the elders past and present. Hello and welcome to the Emma Lovell Show. I am your host, Emma Lovell, and this is a podcast all about the Bleisure Life. So you would have heard the intro. We talked about business, travel, and self-care, but ultimately we're talking about bleisure. So that is those things, harmonizing how you live, you work, you play, all the things to live a life you love now. Now, this is something that I've written a book about. My book's behind me, The Art of Bleisure. It's something I've been talking about now more than 2 years. I've been talking about it as I wrote the book and everything like that. And I very much live this life. But I still sometimes get people going, how do I do it? Now, of course, I can say, read the book, listen to the audiobook, read the ebook, follow my socials. I have a course called the Bleisure Life Plan that I've created, so you can buy the course and do it for yourself. I work with people one-on-one as well. So I work as a consultant and a coach. So if someone's like, how do I do it? That's how I can work with them. But I do also find that I think that I have to share more, and I do in episodes and in parts and things like that about how I'm doing it. But I kind of had this realization the other day that I want to make this podcast a bit more like a vlog or a journal, a verbal journal of what it's like to live in this life. And mine is going to look very different from yours, but I feel like by telling you what I'm working on, how I'm working, the things I'm doing, the things we're planning, the things that are working, the things that aren't working, I hope that that inspires you and encourages you and motivates you to look at your life and the things in your life and where you could make some tweaks or changes so that it can get into alignment with what you truly want. So that doesn't mean that happens instantly, but I also don't think that we have to wait until one day or someday until we've ticked that box or that goal for everything to be the way we want it to be. And so often it happens. And I spoke to someone yesterday who I will get on the podcast, a wonderful fellow author. We had a great conversation about his journey, and I look forward to sharing that in the future. But he sort of said, you have this big goal and he had this vision board and he wouldn't have called it a vision board, but this life map plan, which is exactly what we create in the Bleisure Life, this map, a roadmap for you for what it looks like. We do short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and it's kind of this smorgasbord for your life of how you can pick and choose and to adapt it to make it the way you want it to be. So we do all of that together, but he had this map for his life and then he did it, and he did everything on the map. He did everything like literal map, travels and things like that, but also work-wise and all those sorts of things. And it's actually kind of a scary place to get to because you're like, well, I'm done. And if you're not continuing to have aspiration or have goals or have things that stretch you, getting that place which is like what you want is to achieve things. But when you've done it all kind of without setting another stretch, it can feel really like a strange place to be. And so then what I can also see we've got to find this kind of middle ground then of, well, celebrating as we go. So potentially had all these goals, saw all these things for the future, and a lot of us do this where you're so going for that goal that you're not celebrating or achieving the feeling of it as you go. And then you're waiting for this moment where you achieve the goal to feel awesome and wonderful. But there's just sometimes not that feeling. And writing a book is such a great analogy or example or representation of this because it takes sometimes a year, sometimes longer to get that book into the world. Then you release that book and there's a big promo and a big thing like that. And then there's kind of, yeah, like a down or a lull of, well, I certainly actually found the lull before the book came out. So you've worked, and there's this like middle bit where you've finished working on it. You're kind of waiting for it to be out in the world. So you're not receiving any of the reward, which the reward is people saying, I thank you for your book. I like your book. I love what you said. Just knowing that it's doing what it's meant to be doing, which is helping people or making people think or they're enjoying it or whatever. You've created it for people to read it and they can't read it. So I found that part really hard. But there's also this thing of you've been through this big thing, there's a big hype, there's excitement, and then you do get all that reward of people talking about the book. And then there's a few months after where it sort of goes quiet. And then you're like, oh, I've got to keep talking about it and I've got to keep doing those things. But also, maybe you're tired, but then there's another goal, like you don't have the next goal. And so you're kind of like, I wanted to write a book. I wanted to do the book, and now I've done the book, and now what do I do? This can happen for buying a house. It can happen for getting married. It can happen sometimes with having a child. Like this is something that you've wanted for so long, and you've, the job promotion or the business sold, or it could be a much smaller goal as well. But you achieved the goal, which is all that you wanted. And then what? And the other thing is when the other way that you can go is that you set the goalposts and the goalposts just keep moving and moving and moving and moving. Also not ideal, not good, because you're never going to hit the goal. You're never going to get to celebrate. You're never going to get to achieve. So we do need to find ways to celebrate and to live the life that we are living, live it and love it now, or love elements of it now. So it's holding and being gratitude and present, so grateful and present with what you have. And if you're not, make some tweaks and changes so that you can find some joy, inspiration in whatever current state you're in, while still holding that dream and that goal alive. So anyway, that was a lot of what came up. So that's kind of where the duality that I find with this, and I do think that there is a way to find that harmony of going. I had a bit of a moment of it yesterday. I was watching a show and ended up doing a post about it because it's a show called Home Economics. It's very light, very fun, very easy. It's good. The guy's an author, so obviously I relate. And anyway, he keeps going like, I'm an author. I'm a New York Times bestselling author. But his book, he has a flop of a book and then he writes a new book and the book comes out and in the scene, they go into the airport and they're like, look, there's your book. And then someone's buying the book. And I just turned to my husband and I just burst into tears. And I was like, that's my dream. And he's like, I know. And I was like, a little bit. And I felt all the emotion for that guy. I'm feeling it now. And then I looked at my husband and I was like, it hasn't happened yet. Like I haven't seen my book in an airport and I really want to. It's a travel book. Come on. Like I really want to see it in an airport. I love going to the airport and looking at the books and, and then it's a place where you really do see them. And I want to be one of those books. And anyway, I just looked at my husband again and I went, it's not happened yet, but it will. And it's still my dream. And so I feel so proud of the book and I feel like such a sense of achievement. I've now written a second book, A Life of Magic, my cousin's life story. But I still want to see the book in the bookshop. I still think there's other things that the book can do. I still think that there's more books in me. And so it's like you can celebrate an achievement and still want more. This wasn't actually the point of this particular podcast, but what I'm just sharing is I want to just tell you kind of what's going on. And I want to get in the habit of weekly sharing. And I sort of do that through my newsletter. And if people follow along my newsletter, they would get a gist of where probably my head's at. Like sometimes my socials make it appear that I'm very busy because I post consistently. Some of that is scheduled, some of that, which is, something I really advocate for business owners. Some of it's scheduled, some of it is sort of banked or, I do a little bit of a blast. So it looks sometimes like I am very busy. But the way that I've structured my life, I'm not always super busy. Like there are times I feel like you're so busy, and I'm like, I'm literally lying on the couch as you're talking to me. You just might receive all of that and see all of that content all in one go. But for people who on my social media might not see it because sometimes it is a bit like scheduled post or they don't how I'm feeling post or a story or whatever. But for my newsletter, they've kind of seen a rhythm and a theme, and that is that I'm sort of going through a bit of a shift. I talked about it on one of the a few episodes ago about the identity shift, about changing, I guess, my focus within my retreat offerings, which is that I'm focusing more as a consultant as opposed to a host and delivering in that way, supporting people through consulting and sharing with them the experiences that I've had through retreats, which I do think is like one of the ultimate forms of pleasure. It's a business activity where you get to travel and you also get to rest and take care of yourself and provide that to other people. So nailed it with pleasure. So I want to be helping more people to be able to create that. But what I want to talk about today a little bit. I mean, I just sort of talk a little bit about it because it's new, and I want to bring you on a journey with me. So the podcast and the newsletter for the Emma Lovell brand is going to change a little bit. This podcast, we're still going to have wonderful guests talking about their Bleisure life or talking about elements of pleasure or just something like interesting. So we had a wonderful episode recently with Kate Toon talking about sales, which is really important for people who are running businesses. I mean, sales is used in a lot of things as well. But we also talked about identity shift a little bit on that. So I have wonderful guests, and I think those conversations are really valuable. Sometimes I'm teaching a little bit or telling you something, but I feel like the best way that I can share what is pleasure, how you can pleasure is through experience and through example. And often what I'm living and what I'm going through, these lessons are just coming out kind of organically without me going, I'm going to talk about this topic on this episode. So each week's kind of going to be like week in the life of, and some of those might be 2 weeks together. So I'm going to tell you today is the 10th of June. So it's 10th of June, 2026. I'm recording this. I'm going to try and record once a week. So some episodes might be 2 weeks because we have a guest episode. So I'll do two in one. And it's just kind of what's happening. In that, inevitably, I'll tell you a few things, but you can always head to our website, emmalovell.au, for anything, all things pleasure. For Rest and Receive, my other business, which is all about consulting, which I will be launching a YouTube channel for, so talking all things specifically retreats, but retreats are part of my life as well, so they will come up. But if you want to know more about it or about the consulting work, then head to restandreceive.au. That's some of like the admin bit. So yeah, this is welcome to the inner workings of the Bleisure Life. So a little update. I don't think I've shared this publicly, and there's a lot more to come. But we're going to go on quite a journey. I'll probably get emotional too. We're going to go quite a journey as a family. And it started in January. So in January, my husband applied for a role. Don't get too excited because there's a story to it. Applied for a role in the Bahamas, which anyone I have told is very on board. It is a very pleasure. They're like, you run a retreat there, I'm coming. I'm going to visit you. I think people have basically booked their flights. But he worked in the Bahamas when he was just out of university. He lived there for 9 months working on shark nets because, yes, he is Aquaman. He is a diver, marine biologist, and he was working on a shark nets project at this education and research institute. So in January, the director role came up for that place. And he's said a couple of times he's kind of kept an eye on it and said, if a role came up, he'd kind of go for it. And I think the last time the role came up, there was 10 years ago when we first moved to the Gold Coast. And at the time, I was like, you can go for it. But also, like, we had just moved here for his job at SeaWorld. It was like already a bit of a change. I was kind of excited about this possibility and opportunity here. And turns out it worked because we've been here 10 years, moved from Sydney. So I was kind of like, maybe not right now. And there's been a few other times he's applied for roles. Again, there was like a job he wanted to go for at one point. And look, this hasn't got too far along, but even applying, you've got to be really willing to go. And due to the nature of his work being that it's ocean based, there is a high reality that we would probably have to move somewhere if he got a different role, which I'm open to because my business can be anywhere. That's the Bleisure Life. But another time they wanted to go for a job was in Townsville, which is fine. It's a lovely place, but we had just had our son, and it was like 6 months after we'd had our son. I was like, we have just got our community kind of sorted. We have our village here. Like, we've had so much change in our lives. I can't do that change right now. So it was a not right now. But when he said this Bahamas thing, I had mentally packed our house, rented it out, got someone to rent our car off us, relocated the cat temporarily, packed up, um, communicated with everyone, had a celebration. 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, I had done all of this mentally and I was there in the Bahamas. Like, I could visualize it so strongly. I was like, absolutely 100% babe, let's go for it. So he applied and he's followed up and he's followed up, and it's now June. We still haven't heard. So we've kind of been holding this, and they still could turn around and go, could you move to the Bahamas? We would say yes. But for me, it really opened up such a world of possibility and opportunity. And then the thought of just going, oh, I didn't get it. Okay, back to day-to-day life, which we live on the Gold Coast. I love it. I've just been on a 5.5 week trip. My life day to day is not much of a grind. I've been working a lot this week, but I've got a pretty great setup. But we have been here for 10 years. We've been in our house for 8 years. We didn't know that we'd be here this long. My husband's been at SeaWorld for 10 years this year. My son is now in school and he's super, like, it's a great structure, but that schooling system and that setup of 5 days a week, 9 till 3, that's with the whole vacations, that's the next 13 years of our life. And I'm like, I think I need something different for a little bit. And who knows, that job might not have been permanent, like it might have been a few years. We don't know. Still very open to the possibility universe. But I went to India in March and I loved it because I always love it. It was my 18th time. I've said that a few times on here. If you've listened before, I really love it. And I I just felt really sad to leave. And people kept asking me this time, and they have asked before, but like they kept being like, "Do you live here? Like, you seem like you live here." Um, and I was traveling with my gorgeous friend Nikki, and she's now launched a retreat, the Sensual Being Retreat, that's going to be on in November in India, which is so exciting. So if you're interested in going on a retreat in India, she's going to be the most amazing host. We've been working together on putting that all together. But yeah, apart from Matt and Finn, I really, really missed them that trip, missed them a lot. But I was torn because India feels like home to me, and I didn't want to leave. I was sad to leave, but of course I needed to get home. And I just said, if Matt and Finn were here, I would be so happy to stay. So that obviously sort of spoke to me, something, um, and I just felt like stop waiting for one day or someday. And I came home to my husband and I said, look, I'm all in for this Bahamas. I'm all in, but like keep following it up, but we haven't heard anything. And like I just said, I don't feel like I can just go to, oh, okay, that amazing, crazy, incredible opportunity carrot is gone. Just back to day to day. And I said, I'd love to talk and discuss and explore the opportunity of us spending an extended period in India. And so, oh, been like 3 months, and we've had some pretty intense conversations and some back and forths. What I originally thought might be 6 or 7 months, we've sort of come to a middle ground on. A lot of, uh, I don't know, just finding like a lot of discussions about what the realities would be. Is that a sabbatical from work? Is that Finn and I going for part-time and him coming for part-time? Or, what do we need in terms of what do we need in the bank to do that? What's the costs? How can we, where's the cat going to go? What's the house going to look like? It's weird, a bit like easier moving for indefinitely seemed easier than the potential of doing an extended stay. So, but we have come to an agreement, and we have set a target, we've set a goal, and at this stage, we are going full steam ahead with a plan to live in India for 4 months. I'll do a proper podcast episode with sure this will be the title because I know it'll freak people out. But if you're listening, you're getting the scoop. I'll do a newsletter too, and I know I'm going to do a little headline, so you just get excited. It's going to say, "We're moving to India," because we are. We're moving to India for 4 months. So we'll be there from October to the end of Jan. So we'll come back for term one of Finn schooling. But I just feel like there's some opportunities and possibilities that are there. And I already have the most incredible business partner there. I work with Indusbound, and our business, the clients that we've been bringing in, has been growing. Our retreat side of things is growing. We have at least 6 retreats running in the next over that period. Incredible hosts doing incredible things, and I feel like that is where we are growing. India's economy is growing, and they are just such an entrepreneurial society. There's just so much possibility and opportunity, and I don't actually know exactly how it's all going to go. I don't know where we're going to be. I don't know how long we're going to be in places. I know we have ideas. A lot of the discussions Matt and I had were like what interests he have, which is obviously nature. So nature and animals, so which India is abundant in. So looking at experiences like that. But I also wanted to share earlier because I wanted to make sure that that invitation and that this is definitely something we're doing as a family, but I'm really open to the opportunity and the possibility of what our being there would create. And so I want to tell people in case they had thought, I could want to go to India one day, but would not feel comfortable to go on their own. Well, we'll be there. So there are some set things that we really want to do. So I will be creating some itineraries around that, and there will be open invitation. So through my travel partner, Indusbound, we'll create some itineraries that we will be going on no matter what. And yes, it will be the three of us, my husband and my 5-year-old son. But if a solo traveler or a couple or a family also want to join us, I just want to be very vocal about it in case people want to join us. I can meet up with people in Delhi and Mumbai at the start of their adventures. I will be opening up the opportunity that I have these VIP days that I do with clients for retreat consulting, but they are absolutely available for Bleisure as well. And I can host those in India. So, come over, do the day with me, and then, day and a couple nights, and then go off and see the Taj Mahal, or, go in Kerala and go on the boats, or go up and see the Himalayas, Dharamshala, where I was, where the Dalai Lama's residency is. There's so much opportunity and possibility. And for us as well, like there's so many parts of India that I just haven't even got to see because I'm really taking people to kind of similar places, those first time places that you would go and then going to somewhere else. But also some of these places are a bit further away and take a little bit more travel to get there. So I need a little bit more time, and that's what that's going to give us. So I'm not going to go into it all today because I just wanted to drop that, but we are looking into, what does schooling look like for Finn? What does, what would be required when we're taking 4 months off? What does those conversations with Matt's work look like about how that's going to work? How we are, setting our savings goal and working towards that. So I really want to take you on the journey and there's also obviously a huge possibility and risk that we don't get to our goal on time and we don't go then. But we are going all in on plan A. There's always plan B to Z. Life changes and things happen, but if you don't set a goal, if you don't make a plan, if you don't work towards it, then it's a someday, one day. Next thing you know, my son is 18 and moving off and doing his own adventure. I'll follow him wherever he goes, but I just think this is such a precious time that I want to share with them, and I think there's a really special energy and opportunity with my beloved India. And so the last time I spent a concentrated amount of time there was 14 years ago. I spent 2 months and I saw so much and I felt so very like embedded, embraced, intertwined. There's a word like so, I don't know, integrated and aligned with this country. And I just loved it. And I just think, yep, there'll be challenges, but this is the time. And so I'm really proud of my husband and myself for the conversations we've had and the way we've worked together to get to this point. And there's still work to do. It's 10th of June, and in just under 4 months, we'll be there. So come along for the ride. And I'm going to show you what Bleisure Life looks like in real time. So I want to share with you, all the lead up, what we're doing every week. And some of that will be like life stuff. So I'll definitely tell you what's like kind of a week in the life of, but also the progress update and the report on how we're going. And then, this will continue. So when we're there in India, I'll be doing a weekly podcast or blog or vlog or I don't think I'll do the videos and all that. It'll just be a podcast. If you want to watch the video on YouTube, you can. But I'm not going to sign up for that. That's too much. Watch my reels and my stories and you'll see all the stuff. But otherwise, I'll give kind of a weekly update of what it's like living there and what we're doing and how we're making it work for us. So I'd love to hear from you. Please do send me an email to know that you listened, or a text or a WhatsApp or an Instagram or whatever to let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I look forward to dropping this little bombshell on the newsletter soon, but you got the scoop. Thank you for listening. As always, this is way longer than I thought it would be. Let me know if you like this content as well. I think it's going to be cool for me to have a time capsule and to have that public accountability. But I also, if this is not what people want to listen to, then I'll also cater to my audience. But, it is called the Emma Lovell Show. So I'm telling you what this Bleisure Life looks like for me. And as I said before, I really hope that I inspire you, motivate you, encourage you to find your version of pleasure, to find your version of harmony, to find your alignment and your true north, your compass, all the things, so that you can live a life you love right now. Thank you for listening. Oh, bit emotional. And I'll see you or talk to you next time. Thank you for listening, lovely one. I hope this has inspired you to dream big and start creating a life you love today. If you love what you're hearing, don't forget to follow and rate on Spotify, and rate, review and subscribe on iTunes. It helps other awesome people to find this podcast and get motivated and inspired as well. Want to stay connected? Come and join the Live a Life You Love group on Facebook, or connect with me on Instagram, emmalovell.au. The same as my website, but all the details are in the show notes, lovely. I'll see you next episode.